Solana's on a tear, right? It's leaving
Speaking
rivals
of
in the
Solana,
dust.
all right.
Right, exactly. Meanwhile, at the same time, Thorchain, I don't know how much you know about Thorchain, continues to slide.
Nothing.
Right. How did the tables turn so quickly? So the Thorchain was. I got into Thorchain. I mean, I'm not in it now, but I was in it with the Rune coin around the time of Luna and all that sort of thing.
Okay.
And Luna had collapsed, and some of those Luna people were advocating for Thorchain, for the Rune token. And whenever I can't really wrap my head around how they're making this thing profitable and work, I'm always like, something is very suspicious over here. And so just to show the chart here, actually, let me just read from the Rune article. So concerns about Thorchain's debt, estimated at nearly 200 million, have triggered panic selling around Rune. Trading volume has surpassed 650 million and could intensify the downward pressure as sustained. With Thorchain yet to make a public statement, Rune's price risks further decline below $2 in the short term. The price of Rune, the native token for the settlement protocol Thorchain, has plunged by 30% in the last 24 hours. This decline comes amid speculation that the chain is no longer solvent. Ooh, I don't like hearing that. These rumors of potential insolvency have triggered panic selling, driving downward pressure on the token's price. With uncertainty surrounding Thorchain's stability, this analysis reveals all the details about the situation of what could be next for Rune. So the reason this popped up is that whenever there's any question about insolvency, whenever I hear insolvency, I lost so much money on after the FTX collapse and Celsius and all that sort of thing that I try to pay very close attention to this.
Okay, so I'm going to try to say this delicately in case the Thorchain team ever hears anything of this, but I cannot tell you how excited this makes me. And I'm going to throw out a hot take on this because you know that I'm a fundamental investor. I like seeing when the market responds well to fundamentals. And for the longest time, I've not really been convinced that the cryptocurrency market ties to fundamentals. What this is telling me is that holders or investors, whichever phrase you want to use to describe those who are investing their capital or putting their capital into a cryptocurrency over a long period of time, are expecting that the fundamentals remain strong for the project. In this case, there's so much debt associated with this project that it's actually causing investors to flee the project, despite the fact that in the past, cryptocurrencies could be abandoned by the project maker altogether, or they could just be a meme coin that was launched on a DEX, or it could be abandoned by the original founder. You know, I mean, what was it? Litecoin many years ago, the founder was pretty much like, yeah, I'm just not really working on it anymore. But it still circulates as a token that people take seriously. It's still one of the top market cap coins. And unless anything has changed, I remember watching an interview with him where he basically had just said, no, I'm just not really going to work on the project anymore. I don't know how much has changed for Litecoin, but it's just one of many examples where many cryptocurrencies rise in value despite the fundamentals not really being tied to it. And however we want to measure those fundamentals, it could be based on the project strength or its commit rate or how big the team is, maybe how many transactions are taking place on chain, global impact. Like there's all these things we could look at. In this case, this actually is promising to me that we are getting closer to a world in which you can now tie fundamental aspects of a project to its market price.
That's right. And so that makes a lot of sense to me. And that's why I felt pretty good about the when I looked at the white paper for it, when we were actually talking about it, and the idea that they were going to basically build a network, or part of the coin was shorting Ethereum and Bitcoin. I'm not understanding how I didn't understand at the time how shorting the two most popular cryptocurrencies was going to lead to you being successful. Like I just didn't understand how that was going to work. That's to me, if someone said they're building their whole business on shorting SPY on NASDAQ, I go, okay, I'm not really interested in the next thing you're about to say, because that to me doesn't seem like it makes a lot of sense. But the coin kept rising. I was like, okay, maybe I just don't understand. But I sold off the whole thing, and now that I see it crash, I think that's pretty interesting. On the other side of it, so the reason I want to talk about the Solana thing on the heels of the Trump coin is that Trump launched on Solana. The Trump coin launched on Solana. It didn't launch on ETH, right? Now, if you remember, the Ethereum token, the the Ethereum token was the darling of the last cycle because that's where you had all the DeFi, that's where you had all the meme coins, that's how you had all these pump and dumps, that's how you had all these projects because of the programmability of the platform. It just exploded in popularity. But we complained all the time about it's too expensive, it's too slow, it's not secure, and it just kept rising and rising and rising and rising and rising.
Sure.
And along the same lines of what you were just saying for Thor, they're in a sense suffering this go around by being outpaced by Solana, because Solana's cheaper, Solana's faster, and in some ways is it has a different level of security. And all the new meme coins, the big ones, are all on Solana now. And that was like the claim to fame for Ethereum. I know they wanted to talk about we're the world computer and all that. Okay, I hear you. But when we were all saying that people were on the platform spending $100 per transaction or whatever because of the meme coins, that's why people were there.
Right.
And now there's all this infighting, all this craziness that's going on with Ethereum blockchain. It's hard to tell like what's going to happen in the future with the foundation, blah 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 blah. And Solana's eating the lunch, and so it's really giving me a new a sense of appreciation for the meme coin metric. Like I discounted it. I didn't really care about the meme coins, but because I was like, that's not a killer app. I want a killer app in blockchain. I'm not getting the killer app. But it turns out this meme stuff, at least in this beginning phase, is an indicator if that coin, if that layer one coin or whatever, could take off. Because we're not hearing about the other layer ones that have a bunch of meme coins on them as well. We hear it about an Alpha Solana. We heard last time about Ethereum, and the cycle before that, they were trying to do it with like Bitcoin forks, right, to be the meme stuff. So for me, the trade is I want to find the platform that will be the next meme coin factory that now is trading at $1. That's what I'm desperately looking for, because I look at the Solana chart that just looks beautiful, and when it was at its lows, I go, okay, at the next cycle when it fall, I want to see where they had better technology for the meme stuff and start putting money putting money over there. That's me buying the bottom. I get that.
Sure. No, I hear what you're saying. So you're looking for the new competitor to Solana, but then I often wonder, why not wait for the end of this cycle and just load up on Solana the next go round?
Well, that's what people thought about Ethereum, and Solana ate its lunch.
It's true.
So,
Good point.
so it's like, I mean, significantly.
Right.
So it's like, it sort of feels if you're in the market, and this is how I feel. If I'm in the market, I want to get I'm trying to ride the hype. I'm not there because of some long term blah blah blah. I'm going for the hype. Second best doesn't really cut it.
Yeah.
Like,
so then to qualify all the projects that are going to start between now and 2 years from now, I think ultimately you'll have to look at adoption as being sort of the qualifying factor, right? To get in early enough in that early stage, unless you're talking about taking bets across this whole universe of potential platform competitors.
Well, for the ones that are trying to be the meme coin factory, if they're either explicitly,
right, that's what I mean. Yeah, let's say there's 40. Let's say there's 100.
All 40.
You're exactly right. So you want to bet on all of them. Got it.
That's right. I see no reason not to, because I was like, okay, because technology wise, I'm not going to say that. Let me just end it this way. Solana, you guys, I promote Cardano all the time. I think Cardano's wonderful, fantastic, but clearly, price wise, you guys have knocked it out of the park for performance. I have some Solana. I don't have as much as I could have had, paying attention to the markets, and it's actually just soared. So kudos for the people who've held it. It should keep running for this entire bull market for whatever that's worth. So we could see $500 on Solana. I don't know. I don't know the metrics on it, but we're not at the end of the cycle yet. It doesn't appear, and so good job on that. But I would be jumping off the boat at the top of the cycle as soon as I could, because
sure,
it should go straight down.
One thing I probably would point out about Solana, and part of what I think could also be contributing to the rise that it's experiencing right now, is really kind of a recovery from the impact the FTX had on its price. From peak to trough, I think it had ultimately experienced about a 96% drawdown from peak in that period before the the FTX debacle happened, and then since then we've seen this effectively rise to those recent all-time highs. So I think the next question I have in mind about Solana is whether that was the full recovery of the coin's ultimate demise. You know, to get back from 96% is obviously a huge run up that you have to go through, and that could explain some of its recent outperformance relative to other cryptos.
Well, because this is where the meme coins are at. There's a lot of there are people in my lives. If I'm going to go by the Warren Buffett, talk to taxi driver sort of idea. When the people around me who are not in the crypto space, they're talking about Solana, and I don't hear them talk about Ethereum anymore. And they're like, "How to get a Phantom wallet? How do we get on?" Then I go, "Okay, like they're up more than just because it's a recovery from the drop from the previous high. There's clearly momentum here,
Okay.
and if I always go with my friend, my best friend, when he talks about it, I know the top is we're 6 months away. Like there's still way more room
Sure.
to go,
Sure.
and
Fair
he's
enough.
all about the Solana. So he sees Solana, he sees Trump coin. All he has in his head now is now I got to get as many Sol as possible. Obviously, he wants to buy Solana now at all-time highs.
Mhm.
So that means we'll have another at least 50% or whatever in this bull market.
Okay.
When he's fully invested, he goes, "Oh my god, I don't have scrounge as much as I could. Now it's time for me to sell."
All right. We'll listen to the cab drivers then.
Exactly.